Welcome to the ultimate deep dive on one of the most nostalgic and intriguing rematches in UFC history. Conor McGregor versus Max Blessed Holloway 2 at UFC 329 on July 11th, 2026. 13 years. That's how long it's been since these two first stepped into the Octagon as relative unknowns. Back in 2013, a brash Irish prospect named Conor McGregor faced a skinny Hawaiian kid in Max Holloway on a fight night card. Today, they're both legends, multi-time title challengers, and global icons. This isn't just a fight, it's a full-circle moment in MMA history. In this marathon breakdown, we're covering everything: their complete career stats, the full history of both men, how their fighting styles have evolved dramatically since that first meeting. Part 1. Their attributes. First, the numbers don't lie. Heading into this rematch at 170 pounds, Conor the Notorious McGregor, 22-6-0, 86% of victories. Age, 37, turns 38 right around fight time. Height, 5'9", reach, 74 inches. Stance, southpaw, switches to orthodox. Wins by KO/TKO, 19. Career SLPM, significant strikes per minute, suggestively 5.3 to 6.0 in prime. Notable strengths: explosive power, elite timing, psychological warfare, left-hand counter. He always made sure to keep his distance and use his reach as advantage. Like, take the fight with Aldo as an example. He already knew that Aldo was ready to unload all his power on him because of all the mental warfare you had with him leading up to the fight. So when the fight started, Conor kept his distance and made sure to wait for his opponent to make a mistake so he can counter with power left hand, using both his reach and one-punch power to his advantage. Holloway has height, relentless pace, and proven durability over 25-plus minute fights. Both are elite strikers, which could be a massive advantage since Holloway doesn't stop putting pressure on you even in the 5th round, like we see in the Gaethje fight. He kept hitting with beautiful combos even in the 5th round, which we all know Conor can struggle in, if the fight does there. This will be a potential striking masterclass, with wrestling rarely deciding it unless someone gets desperate. Part 2. Their history. Max Holloway turned pro in 2010 at just 18-19 years old. Early career in Hawaii and regional shows showed flashes of volume striking and spinning attacks. He entered the UFC in 2012 as a prospect with highlight reel potential, but losses to guys like Dennis Bermudez and Conor in 2013. That 2013 loss to McGregor was a pivotal moment. Holloway was 7-3 after the fight. Instead of crumbling, he went on one of the greatest runs in UFC history. 13 straight wins from 2014 to 2018. That's 4 years of domination, including knocking out Anthony Pettis, dominating Jose Aldo twice, unification and rematch, epic wars with Brian Ortega, Frankie Edgar, and Calvin Kattar, where he set strike records. And each of those fights, Holloway had done a lot of damage and thrown a lot of combinations. Let's take the Brian Ortega fight, for example. At 3 minutes and 15 seconds, Holloway hit Ortega with a hard right hand, and that happens consistently throughout the fight. How do you think that happens? Well, it all stems from his stance. Max has a real free-flow kind of stance, with his arms down, and that makes it difficult for his opponent to know what type of attacks he will throw. Which is why Max baits a lot of his attacks. Like here, he baited Ortega by showing his right hand like he's about to throw a cross, so Brain had to parry his attack with his left hand, and Max goes for jab. So both the Brain's hands are now ready to defend his face. Instead of going for a counter like in the previous combos, now that Brains is too focused on parrying Max's attacks, his face remains open for a clean cross if Max decides to commit to the combo, which he did. There were many more instances where Max had successfully baited his opponents into opening their face or body so he can throw massive combos. Like another example in the same fight. In round 1, he knew Brain had his face open a lot, but also had to make sure no counterattack comes at him. So what he does is goes for his lead hand so he can disarm Brain's counter cross, and then goes for a cross himself full force. These classic moves and fight IQ is what made him the undisputed featherweight champ, won the BMF belt, and even moved up to lightweight for title shots against Dustin Poirier and others. Losses to top guys like Ilia Topuria showed his chin isn't invincible anymore, but that happens a lot. Some fighters that seem unbeatable are usually beaten when they move up the weight division since their chin isn't ready for the power higher divisions have. But Max, his heart never wavers. On the other side of this 13-year-old rivalry is Conor McGregor. Him and his brute force into the UFC had created an unbreakable force field, which had his unmatched trash talking, his confidence, and his pure skill. He went pro since 2008. He dominated Cage Warriors, won both feather and lightweight belts in the UFC. The 2015-2016 peak was unreal, KOing Chad Mendes for interim gold, 13-second destruction of Jose Aldo, beating Eddie Alvarez for the lightweight belt, making him unbeatable at the time. But there was only one thing that could beat Conor: himself. All the money, the fame, the glory got to him, and it slowly but surely started to take his pieces away. Part 3. How the fight will go. Now we come to the best part of the video, analyzing both Max and Conor's styles to see who has the upper hand in UFC 329. The easiest way to find out how the fight will go would be by going back to 2013. The fight starts and Conor, as usual, super relaxed and confident. He had Max on the back foot, making him feel the pressure by his unique leg kicks and constant pressure. Conor has a lot of shining moments in this fight, which we will talk about, starting with one of his signature punches, which might seem unusual because Conor adds all aspects of his striking style. The setup starts with Conor putting all his weight on his lead leg, keeping his head high so his opponent can go for a jab. But what they don't realize is that Conor hides his lead hand at his hip. Out of sight, out of mind. When his opponent goes for the bait, he goes for a straight jab to the face. He does different versions of this move, like in this case when Conor went against Khabib, he does the same thing. Weight on his lead leg, face up high, hide his lead hand at his hip. Now here he shows his right hand, which made Khabib preemptively parry, but that only opened up his face for an uppercut, which Conor successfully landed. Another move Conor is good at is his front leg hook kicks. Conor used to be a master at his kicks, using it to keep distance and damage his opponents. In the fight with Max, he kept on attacking Max's knee because when a southpaw and orthodox fight with each other, both of their lead legs are facing each other, so it opens up a lot of opportunities for fighters that are specialists at kicking. Now, it would be hard to predict who wins the fight, but since both fighters are working on their kicks, like we see Max versus Justin, he went for some nasty spinning kicks. One was so clean that it broke in Justin's nose. The round started and Justin looked promising. He added pressure, making Max think twice before going for a combination. But in the last second of the round, when Justin was pushing Max towards the cage, Max used his spinning kick as a defensive move in order to stop Justin from rushing him. But it turned out to change the whole fight because it broke his nose. And when we watch Conor training for the fight, he was practicing his hook kicks, so we will see which fighter will be on top in UFC 329. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Peace.